Well, hello, folks. I believe I am live. Y'all let me know if you can hear me clearly on this. I think I'm live right now. I see we've got, let's see who's all in here right now. There's Stingray. I see you. Let's see, Devin Hayes, Steve McCoy, Douglas McGraham. Let's see, Jesse Arms. Okay, everything sounds good. Devin's letting me know it sounds good. That's cool. And I've got my brother's going to be on in about 5, 10, 15 minutes. He's stuck in traffic. He was going to be my guest. But looks like we got a pretty good crew here already. We've got 32 folks watching. And I'm going to do a recruiting update. We're going to talk a little bit about recruiting. We're going to talk about our targets. And we've had a really couple of good weeks. I mean, really strong with, of course, Mike Matthews, he's kind of the jewel right now, a 5-star wide receiver. That really boosted us. We went from 14 to number 8 with him. And then, of course, Edwin Spillman brought us up to number 7. And that was a really strong 4-star linebacker. So I was real pleased about that. Let's see. And if y'all have got any questions, holler at me. I'll see it on the message board. No worries there. But again, the guys that we've got coming up, I'm going to talk about them a little bit. First of all, there's Kai Bates. This is a guy that I don't want to call him a must-have, but he's as close to a must-have as I've seen. You know, a shutdown corner would sort of change our recruiting in such a positive way, because we've already got Caleb Beasley, who is a shutdown corner. Thank you, James. I appreciate that. Says, keep up the good content. I'm going to do just that, my friend. And like I say, with Caleb Beasley on one corner, you've got Boo Carter, who, I'm going to tell you something. I've watched his highlights a lot. That guy is crazy fast. He will knock the crap out of you. And he has got a nose for the football like nobody else. I really think he's going to be I don't want to call him a sleeper because everybody knows that he's good, but he could be really special for us. Wow, we got 105 people in here. Hey, that is awesome. Thank you for that. Man, that makes me feel good. But I feel fantastic about where we're headed with this recruiting class. I was a little bit concerned about a month ago. And of course, you've got to kind of rethink recruiting right now because it's happening so fast. Used to be, of course, your signing day was in February. Now, really, the early signing day being in December, that sort of makes everything different. Let's see. Here's a guy talking about Bennett Warren. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. Bennett Warren and Jordan Ross. Yes, that would be very nice. Bennett Warren, 6'7", 330 pounds, out of Texas, and he's a true offensive tackle. So he would be a fantastic get, and I know we're in on him in a major way. And, of course, as you know, we're going to have a lot of guys graduating, most likely. Now, some might come back because of the extra year they get from the pandemic and all that. But I'm going to think, you know, several of them are going to leave and maybe go to the NFL. And I'm just not comfortable that we have enough. Now, we've picked up some nice ones. We picked up 2 4-star offensive linemen recently. So to pick up Bennett Warren, I think that would be a great finishing piece on the offensive line. I think that would give us 5, maybe 6 offensive linemen. I'll look at the commits here in a minute, and I'll show them when I share the screen. But that Bennett Warren would be outstanding. Now, Jordan Ross, who is a 5-star, by the way, 6'4", 230, out of Alabama. And what was it? On 3 had us in the lead for him. Now, we picked up some great edge rushers last year. We picked up we picked up Davin. We picked up the Davin kid. Also, let's see, Chandavian Bradley. And then also Caleb, I can't remember his last name, just off the top of my head. I might have to pull up the 23. But we picked up some great edge rushers. But I would love to pick up Jordan Ross. Now, the other fella that would be huge is Cam Franklin. That's another 5-star. See, Johnny, thank you, Johnny. He likes these live streams. Says, here's a guy asking about our defensive tackle depth. And I know they're working hard on that. They've got several guys they're going after there. Let's see. Said, what happened to the 3-star tight end that we were in on? I saw an article on that earlier today or yesterday, and I have not heard anything recently on him. And I know we're going to be looking at tight ends. Now, of course, we've got a really strong tight end. Let me pull up our targets here. We'll talk about that for a moment. Actually, you're right there. Now, folks, if I don't do this perfectly right off the bat, remember, I'm new to StreamYard. But Cam Franklin, you see there. And there's Jordan Ross. These are all our targets. Now, William Noweri, they've not changed us from Warren, but we're not in his top 3 anymore. So I'm a little bit surprised by that. There's Bennett Warren. Let's see here. Let me make that a little bit bigger. Bennett Warren. Let's see. Yeah, there's out of Texas. We're warm on him. Then there's Kai. Kai Bates. Oh, boy. That's one we've got to get. That's just all there is to it. That's going to be critical. I think we're going to get him. It's either us or LSU. And the thing is, he wants playing time. He wants to play early. Oh, Eccles. Eccles is the tight end we've already got. But he wants to play early. And I think he sees it here at Tennessee. LSU, look, you can say what you want about LSU. They're so loaded down there when it comes to cornerbacks. They always have been. There's something about LSU where they never have trouble at cornerback. They've always got a 5-star here and a 5-star there. All they got to do is reach out 20 miles from the university, and there's a 5-star. So if he wants to play, he needs to come to Tennessee, in my opinion. That's just how I see it. And I think he sees it because he's been quoted as that playing time early is a big deal, and he loves the culture at Tennessee. He's excited about it. So I feel fantastic. And he's going to commit on July 26th, which is that's just in 4 days from now, which would be a Wednesday, as I recall. Yeah, Wednesday. Now, we've just gotten the 2 guys that we were talking about the other day, the 4 that we needed so badly, which was Mike Matthews, we got Edwin Spillman, we got Kai Bates, and Amari Jefferson. And I said we need to get all 4, but 3 is a must. We must get 3. Well, we're 2 for 2 already, okay? So if we pick up another with Kai Bates, and then we pick up Amari Jefferson, that's between us and Bama, and it's tight. And Bama's slightly in the lead, just like Arian Carter was last year. Let's see who we got here. Dave Morrison. I'm a little late, but I'm here. Dave, appreciate the $2, man. I know that 4-4 is looking good. Then we've got to really focus on our edge with Cam Franklin and Jordan Ross. Focus on that offensive lineman. But I'll tell you what, we've moved up the ranks big time. We're up to number 7 on 3 and number 8 with 247. As a matter of fact, let me show you that. Let me get us, let's see, commitments. Right here, number 8. Let's see, pull that up here. Nope. Pull it up there. Okay. Of course, Mike Matthews being the jewel of the whole, make that bigger. There we go. Braylon Staley picked him up. And we've had a couple of guys that have dropped a little bit on 247, and not for any particular reason, I don't think. Look, they hadn't even played a ball game, but this happens. You're going to have some guys move up and down. But we've got full seasons of high school football in front of us. But when you look at Braylon Staley, a wide receiver, look at our top 2 players are wide receivers. And I've told you folks, we're not going to have any trouble getting wide receivers or quarterbacks. They pushed Jake Merklinger down I have no idea why. That makes absolutely no sense that he's down on 247 because he was at number 67 not a week ago, and he's not played a game. So this happens, but once he starts playing, he'll probably boost right back up. fastest running back in the country, I think, is Peyton Lewis. We got him. Jonathan Eccles, we talked about him. At one point, he was a 5-star, and this is a guy that we've got pegged as a tight end, but he can also play edge. I mean, this guy's a freak athlete. He's 6'4", 230, and he's got the super quick twitch muscles. I mean, he's very athletic. And then we got the shutdown Caleb Beasley out of Nashville. And let me let this thing, let's see here. I'm learning. View tab, stop sharing. Wait just a minute. That's what I should have done. I'm learning. But yeah, we just need to keep recruiting like we are right now. Like I said, the ones I'm looking for very soon, the Kai Bates and Amari Jefferson. I've just got a feeling Amari Jefferson's going to choose the Vols. You know, he's a Tennessee guy. I think Alabama's going to try to put him in the defensive backfield. They might try that. I don't know. He's so electric, man. If you've watched his highlights, he's been something else. And I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos talking about what they think the Vols will do. I've watched a couple from Alabama and Florida, and I actually watched Kangaroo Black. He's got us at 10-2 this year. He thinks we're going to win all our games except Alabama and Georgia. Of course, he's going to think we're not going to win against Alabama, but he's got us at 10-2. And then I watched a Florida guy that had us at 9-3, and he had us winning every game. Well, he had a toss-up for Florida, but I'm putting that down as a W. But he had us South Carolina beating us. I just don't see South Carolina beating us. I really don't. I can't see that happening. That seems kind of crazy. Wow, 216 people are in here tonight. Cool beans, man. I appreciate that. And for those of you that just came on, my brother Chilmont's going to be on here in a minute. We're going to talk Vols football and recruiting and all that good stuff. He's stuck in a little bit of traffic, but he'll be here in a little bit. But that's interesting to me that Alabama and a Florida guy, and look, they're YouTubers. That's all they do is cover those guys, have us at 10-2 and 9-3. And I have us anywhere from best case scenario 11-1, worst case scenario 8-4. Let's see what JL says here. It says South Carolina. I absolutely, JL, I agree with you. I think we're going to absolutely be loaded for bear when they show up here. And I don't see it. I just cannot see us getting beat by South Carolina this year. Because, I mean, good grief. You saw what our defense did after that. I mean, they shut down they just weren't in the right mindset. There was a lot going on there, and something had them off. Now, granted, South Carolina did play well against Clemson, and they played pretty good against Notre Dame, but they lost the game. So we'll see. But, you know, a lot of that was the crowd. And look, ESPN was there, and it was at 7 o'clock, and that place was on fire. And we came in, we just got to roll the football and we'll be fine, because they had just come off getting beat by Florida like 38-3. So I don't know. Here's a guy that says, do you think we'll land any Yes, I do. I absolutely do. I think we're going to land Cam Franklin, and we might get Jordan Ross. We might have a flourish here at the end. Get one of them. I think we'll at least get one of them. Chilmonte's here. I'm going to pull him into the studio here once he gets squared away. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to add him to the live stream here. There you are, Chilmont. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Okay, good deal. I got Chilmont in here. Now, Wilmot, we got 242 people are watching this.
Outstanding.
That is outstanding for live. I'm in shock.
Yeah.
I'm in shock. I can't.
That's awesome.
I mean, the most I got the other night, the very first time I did a live, was like 140 or 150, but I didn't think there'd be this many. So I'm excited.
That's great.
This is cool. So,
welcome all you ball fans.
Oh yeah, Wilmot. We've been talking about recruiting. We've been talking a little bit about the season coming up.
Yeah.
Now we just got Mike Matthews, 5-star wide receiver. I mean, just absolutely, and pulled him out of Georgia. which
Yeah.
just makes it that much sweeter.
Yeah. Poor Kirby and Dabo. I feel so bad for him.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing about it. You know what they were going to do with that guy. They were going to put him in the defensive backfield as a safety.
Yeah.
One of those typical Georgia safeties that are a nightmare to deal with.
Yeah.
They were going to tell him wide receiver, but I'll bet you Kirby would have gotten him out there and said, "Oh, this guy's a safety."
Yeah.
And I think he made the right choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're an offensive guy, why would you not come to the Quarterback Whisperer Academy here at Tennessee, for crying out loud? I mean, we took what was basically, I mean, Hendon Hooker was kind of a cast-off and had been a couple of places, and then all of a sudden he came here, and he's the best quarterback in the nation. Probably if he'd not gotten hurt and we'd have beat South Carolina, he would have won the Heisman Trophy going away.
Well, it would have been him or the I don't know, man.
The Alabama kid, but yeah, because he's at Alabama. But
still, yet
you could not have denied his numbers. It was unreal.
He was magical. And you know what?
Really
the best thing he was clutch. That was the thing that I liked about him the most. In that Pittsburgh game, when we were in overtime, and he ran for a touchdown, and it got called back because of a holding penalty. And the very next play, he throws a dime to Cedric Tillman for that touchdown.
And broke their spirit.
Mentally, as an athlete, to have a touchdown called back on you like that, and then to respond immediately.
Well, it messes with your
head.
hair.
I was like, this guy's special. This guy, I mean, I already knew he was really good from the year before, but I didn't know he was that special. And then what he did at Alabama with the Alabama game, that's legendary.
Oh, yeah, he's legend status. I mean, people still talk about that. And, just reason I was running late, me and my son, we had dinner downtown in the old city. The old city's packed. It's like being in like downtown on the Strip in Las Vegas. There's so many people. It's ridiculous. And, everybody's out. The weather's great. And everybody's talking UT sports. Everybody's got UT gear on. It's just unreal. And it's hard to get in any place.
Yeah, I feel like this team has kind of put some sort of new energy into Knoxville.
Oh, God, it's unreal. It's totally energized the town. And it was good last year, but now it's almost like it's football season. And, people just my son, and he was saying tonight, he said, "Man, I miss football. We need to get football started again."
Yeah. Thank you, Bo. That's very nice. Thank you. But, I think the city of Knoxville is so excited right now.
It's nuts.
That it's crazy. I've got an Alabama guy says this is an unofficial visit. It always.
The NCAA limited us on official visits.
Oh, yeah, so exactly. You're going to get us in trouble again. Dang it. Yeah. We just got out of trouble.
Yeah. He only gets one. He only gets one every 2 months.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, I think we're going to see. That's another reason why I feel like our recruiting is going to continue to improve this year. Having that, I think we'd have gotten some guys the last couple of years if we didn't have that cloud over our head.
Oh, yeah. Well, all of a sudden, the monkey's off our back, and boom, we land a 5-star and a big in-state 4-star linebacker that we really needed too.
Yeah, that guy, he is super quick.
Yeah,
our linebackers that we're getting are so ideal for the game today because they're coming in about 220, and they're unbelievably fast. They're typically running backs that had converted into linebacker, which is perfect. You know, that's the perfect combo where you've got that speed, but you've also got the ability to knock the crap out of somebody, and you can cover because you've got to cover a tight end, and then you've got to be able to cover that running back coming out on that wheel route because that's where linebackers get killed. Yeah, when they can't cover that running back, you get burned, and they throw that touchdown on you, and it's just horrible.
And we also need, and that's an excellent point. And that's a guy who can cover that. He's got the quickness to do that. You need to be, I was talking to a buddy of mine not too long ago. certainly within 5 yards of you, a diameter around you. If you're a linebacker within 10 to 15 yards, you need to be unbelievably quick in that 15 yards around you. And that's a guy who is that. And he can get to the line quick. He can get onto the outside to cover the tight end quick. He can fall back a little bit and maybe get some help on the slot receiver really quick. And that's huge. I mean, all you need is a couple of knockdowns or pass breakups, and it changes the game. It gets them and they're 3 and out instead of scoring.
There's a guy watching from South Korea. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That's awesome.
Welcome.
Yeah, from South Korea of all places.
Oh yeah.
And you know, BVD was asking me where's the furthest somebody's from. I'd say South Korea. We're going to have to give him the prize on that one.
Yeah, he gets the prize on the distance there, doesn't he?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome. He must. I wonder if he's stationed maybe in the military or something.
Probably.
Yeah.
Something along those lines, you would think. But yeah, it's interesting to see all the different countries people watch, because there's so many Vols fans out there.
Oh yeah.
You know, the biggest places that I've noticed with my demographics, obviously, you know, Knoxville's already a huge one.
Oh yeah.
And then also Nashville's actually number 1. I think Knoxville's number 2 and Atlanta's number 3.
Oh, so that's pretty. Atlanta's surprising.
Yeah. Well, Atlanta's so big.
Oh, that's it. But you think there'd be so many Georgia fans and, you know.
Well, there's a lot of all fans in Georgia. Georgia's, you know, Atlanta's kind of a melting pot.
It really is, yeah.
You get, and there's so many jobs there. You know,
well, that's it. You probably got a lot of transplants from Knoxville or guys and girls who went to the University of Tennessee working in Atlanta. I got a buddy who works there.
Please explain how Chilmont got his name. That's a lot of nicknames take time, guys and gals. They take time. If you've got nicknames in your family, you understand this. It started out.
It's quick.
What was it? Will, then it's Wilton, then it was Wilmot, which was our Uncle Ned.
Yes.
Somehow couldn't remember your name and called you Wilmot one day.
Yeah, and that's when our brother Walt heard that Junebug, and he said he couldn't remember my name. It's Wilton, but he said Wilmot, and Walt heard it and went Wilmot, blah. And I've been that ever since. And then it's just devolved into Chill, and then Chilmonte, and Chilmont, and then Chilmonte. So yeah. It's just it's been a long process, but that's what it's devolved into.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's most of our nicknames that we have for people, like Junebug. Just quickly on that one, it was, of course, he's a junior, and then how in the world we wound up with Junebug on him, and it just I think it was maybe a great nickname. It just sticks.
Yeah, well, I think it was maybe me. He said, "What are you doing, June?" And I said, "And Junebug," and yeah.
That hit me just right. I loved that nickname.
Yeah,
so and he's been Junebug ever since.
Yeah, and said, "What up, Junebug?" and it stuck. You never know what's going to stick, but sometimes they do.
Yep, the brisket, Wilmot. Talking about your brisket and all that. Wilmot has he's got a channel where he does barbecue, smoked meats, and all that kind of stuff. It's called Backyard Smoking and Grilling with Will. And he's done. You've done more than half a dozen videos, I think. But
I've got to get after
it. Wilmot used to do some competition barbecue, but at one point he had a grill and had a big UT on it, and it must have been 30 feet long. It was the biggest grill I'd ever seen in my life, and it was awesome. And he wound up selling it, which was just very frustrating for me and for Junebug, because we loved it so, but it was so big he just didn't have anywhere to put it at the time.
I wish I still had that thing. I would love to still have that thing. It was not that big, but it was 15 feet long. It was an offset steel pipe smoker that a guy who was a welder had built, and and I bought it off of him off of eBay. And it was the smoke chamber itself was 3 feet in diameter, 12 feet long, and it had 3 doors that you could barely lift. And I'm a decent sized guy, and I could barely lift them. And it was so heavy because it was such thick steel, but it cooked amazing. It would hold temperature from one end to the other pretty within a couple of degrees from one end to the other, which is pretty rare for a offset smoker. But man, you could actually have done at one time, you could have done 3 whole hogs at once.
Yeah, it was a monster. Yep.
And you could have done 100 pork butts at once. Yep. Easy.
Yeah, it looked like something you'd see at a big restaurant. This guy asks, is Mike Matthews the best Vols wide receiver commit ever? You know what? He might be the highest ranked one.
Yes.
I'm thinking he might be because he's 13th in the country. I don't know that we've had a wide receiver any higher than that.
Boy, you'd have to go back.
I honestly don't think so. He might be the highest. If not, it can't be more than 1 or 2 guys.
Well, probably one of the highest rated players we had coming out of college or high school was Peyton Manning. Every team wanted him. But as far as wide receivers, boy, I don't know. I'm sure we've had a 5-star or 2, but yeah, I don't know if we've had one this big, which is fantastic. And that's, we talked about this at length. It is so great that we are in the position now where all these great recruits are all looking at Tennessee.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember that in my lifetime. Maybe back in Fulmer's days, when we were really good back in the late 90s. But now it's like if especially if you're an offensive player, you've got to look at Tennessee. You'd be a fool not to.
Yeah, that's anybody that's not looking at Tennessee. If you're a quarterback or wide receiver and you're not looking at Tennessee, you're not looking out for your best interests.
You're really not.
I mean, you got to be crazy.
Yeah, and you're going to go to the NFL. If you do well here, you're going to the NFL and you're going to get a big payday.
This guy says, I want one of those McDonald's bags. Can the Vols help a brother out? It was not a McDonald's bag. It was a Chick-fil-A bag. You got to get these things right.
Initially, I heard McDonald's initially, but I think it was later claimed to be a Chick-fil-A.
It was a Chick-fil-A bag. It had $300 cash in it, and it was a Chick-fil-A bag. I know it for a fact because I read it. I read it in the NCAA thing. It was classic. But yeah,
it was in the thing from the NCAA.
Yeah,
it was a Chick-fil-A bag.
Yeah, Chick-fil-A bag. There was so much stuff in there. The News Sentinel's done a good job on that. Oh, this guy's talking about Willie Galt. Man, Willie Galt was something. I don't remember if he was a higher ranked commit though. But Willie Galt, I mean, he was next level.
We've had some amazing receivers, and who was
Robert Meacham might have been the highest.
I was going to say Meacham, and because he was at New Orleans for years. He went to the Saints, and he was one of their main guys for years. Mm-hmm. But I don't know what he was ranked, coming to UT. But he was a great receiver back in the day, and
he was definitely a 5-star.
Maybe Dante Stallworth.
Yeah, somebody mentioned him. Alvin Harper, those guys.
Yeah.
Stallworth. Tim McGee. I hadn't thought about Tim McGee in a while.
Oh yeah, Tim McGee was a great one too. Wow. Yeah. That's a blast.
Carl Pickens started out, didn't he? Start as a safety. He was in the defensive backfield, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he was a highly rated wide receiver. I think he, like you said, he was a D-back maybe.
Or he came in as a wide receiver, and he was so talented they needed him in the defensive backfield. Seems like I recall they were kind of desperate in the defensive backfield. They put him back there, and he was a fantastic safety, and then he was a great wide receiver.
Yeah, I'd like to see what Carl Pickens was ranked coming out of high school. That would be interesting to see, because he was a great receiver. Holy cow! I can hear John Ward saying Carl Pickens.
Oh yeah,
touchdown.
Here's one that says Vols are the original wide receiver. Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to be again.
Yeah,
do not worry about that.
We're not going to be. We are.
Yeah. Now I know Ohio State's kind of taken that over a little bit. Alabama had it for a while. Man, they were putting out first-round draft pick after first-round draft pick. It was getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
And Ohio State's doing it now.
It's funny. Their offense was probably as good as it's ever been when Kiffin was there. And as much as I hate Kiffin, and did you see him at SEC Media Days?
You see his hair?
Somebody posted. Well, first of all, he was way too tan.
Yeah, I noticed that. It's like, what's the deal with the tan?
It looked like he'd spent about a couple of weeks down in Cancun, probably partying. But somebody posted on Twitter, it looked like he just woke up on the roof of a casino in Las Vegas, and his friends had been looking for him for 3 days. It was, but he did. He was there. It's all over social media how he looked kind of disheveled.
Yeah, his hair. It's like, didn't he have a comb?
Yeah, it's like nobody had a brush or anything.
I think he must have had been down at the beach for like a week or two somewhere. He must have taken a vacation or something along. I guess Mississippi's got some beaches, don't they?
Yeah, I mean he could have been down there, but my money's on he's in Cabo partying. He just got back.
Yeah, but
So who knows? Allegedly. I'm going to make the air quotes. Allegedly.
Yeah, I was also telling him we're getting a lot of respect from fellow YouTubers, like Kangaroo Black has us going at 10-2. A guy that probably is not a real big fan, a Florida guy.
Yeah,
has us basically 9-3. He wasn't willing to pick the Tennessee-Florida game, which I think is very telling.
Okay.
Because if a Florida guy's not willing to pick that game and he put it as a toss-up.
Yeah, I've seen Florida. I've seen rankings showing Florida at like 5th in the East or 4th in the East. So who knows?
They've got them winning either probably 5, 6, 7 games. I've got them at 6-6, maybe 7-5.
Yeah,
I don't like their quarterback room. I do not like their quarterback. Here's a guy that's asking about the next Derek Barnett. I tell you what, there's a lot of possibilities there. There's Joshua Josephs, who looked really good last. There's Bambi. Let's see.
Bambi was getting antsy there.
Yeah. Well, we've got. Let's see. We've got Joshua Josephs. There's another fella. Oh, what is his name? Somebody help me with his name. He's in the same class with Josephs. Oh, I can't believe I can't think of his name. I knew it 2 seconds ago. Those two guys are possibilities. They were really good, solid 4-stars. Then you've got, we loaded up on edge last year.
Yeah.
And that Chandavian Bradley at one time was a 5-star.
Yeah, we've got
if the Caleb guy out of Tennessee, he looks really good. I'm hearing good stuff about him.
If we've got some edge rushers who could be game changers.
Herring.
Yeah. And if they are, man, that's going to make our defense so much better, and it's going to make it so much easier on our defensive backs. If we can, because that's one thing we did not do was get a lot of pressure on quarterbacks.
Yeah, we struggled with that last year. We should have.
And that was part of the problem.
Rush.
I think that was a big. Yeah, we were great against the rush, but as far as getting pressure on the quarterback, we didn't do that very much at all. And I think that hurt our D-backs. I think that's why our numbers were so bad in the backfield. A big part of it.
We could have done better on that. We did handle the rush fine, really well against the run. But
yeah, we were great against the run.
Yeah, we struggled getting a ton of pressure on them. We had good quality players, but we only had, we had the one good rusher, and then the other guys were just good at the run. But this time, like I say, with Herring, with Joshua Josephs, with these new guys, David Hobbs was a 5-star, by the way. And I tell you what, I'm hearing good things about James Pierce too, who is a guy. He'll be a sophomore this year, and he was a big-time 4-star as well. So we've got those 2 guys that are sophomores, and then the 3 freshmen. And then we've got, of course, some juniors and seniors that might surprise us. So we'll see. I just until I see us start putting some serious pressure on quarterbacks, it's hard to say that, because it takes a unique individual that's able to get through there. Because first you got to beat a really good offensive lineman. Yeah. Then if you're really good, you got to beat a double team. Then you got a running back that's probably going to chip on you. And you're probably going to try to be tackling a running quarterback these days because almost nobody has a stationary quarterback.
No, and you've got to be pretty freakish as an athlete, but then you've got to have some serious technique too to fend off the the blockers, and it's all part of the package. But I think we've got some really good guys who can do that. John, I'm going to walk away here. Just Bambi's
Go ahead.
fussing at me. I'm afraid she's going to.
Yeah, you go and take care of Bambi. I'll handle this until you get back.
I'll be right back.
Yep. Oh, here's somebody. You know, you're probably right for Tyler Barron. That's a guy I almost forgot. He's a guy that he might show up big time this year. He might really show up. He's a tremendous athlete. He was a big get back in the day, and he was a Tennessee guy, as I recall. So, yeah, Tyler Barron might surprise us. He had talked about at one point, I remember, like, I think it wasn't this year, but it was the year before, about going to the transfer portal, but we stopped that, which was good. Let me see. Let me move this around a little bit. There we go. I'll know when Wilmot's back, and I'll add him back. Let's see what everybody's talking about here. Down to beat the Gators. Never forget the Hail. Oh, my gosh. One. Now, wait a minute. Are you sure that wasn't a Hail Mary to Georgia? Because isn't that how we beat Georgia? I don't think that was Florida. That was Georgia. That was the Hail Mary. God, that was. I saw I don't know if it's a GIF or what it was, but it gave Juwan Jennings angel wings, and he went about 20 foot up in the air, and it had this hallelujah music, and he grabbed that football, and I thought, man, that's exactly what I saw. That was the real replay to win that game. And let me tell you something. I missed that. I was so upset about the touchdown that I had thrown a drink outside my house down into a part of a river, and I went down to get it out of the river. So I don't like trash in the river. And I was mad at myself. So I was walking down there, and I'd already given up on the game, and I come back, and everybody's cheering, and we'd won the game. I was like, and I missed it. So it's always something. Now, let me get Wilmot back in here.
Yeah, that was.
Hold on. Wait a minute. That says remove. I don't want to remove. Oh, I know what I need to do. There we go. I'm telling you, I keep learning this StreamYard. I'm getting better at it, but I'm still a little bit. That's my second time, so I'm starting to get a little better at understanding what to do.
I'm actually watching it live on the TV over here to the right. There's a little bit of a delay, but it looks great.
Well, good. Whatever you do, don't turn on the volume.
No.
You'll get terrible feedback.
Yeah, I got the volume all the way down. All right. You do your business. Bambi did her business.
All right, good deal. Yep. Got to take care of Bambi.
Oh yeah.
We keep talking about recruiting. We're talking about the season coming up. This is one where we're going to go as far as Joe Milton takes us. That's really what it boils down to. If he plays like he did against, and his confidence level, I've been watching. He's getting more and more confident, just the way he's talking, the way he's handling himself, and the way he went into that Clemson game. And I really thought there was at least a 50% chance he was not going to play well in that game, and we were going to be going to the transfer portal.
Oh, I know. I
didn't find somebody. That's really where I was with this thing.
I thought for sure that looked like a horrible matchup for us.
It was not looking good
at the time, and I was like, oh boy, I don't know. And he came through like a champ, and like we've said many times, when the spotlight was the hottest and the brightest on him, he came through.
Yeah, I was proud for him because the amount of pressure that he was at. First of all, his whole family was there. He had them and 30 guests. Okay. And then he knows what everybody's thinking. And everybody's saying, oh, well, he's going to overthrow 5 guys and miss these guys and all this. And he didn't do that. He threw 3 touchdowns, and he did a couple of plays. He had a couple of plays where he looked off defensive backs that sprung some guys open.
That's
and
right.
You don't do that if you're nervous.
No, you don't do that as a freshman.
No, he looked like he was enjoying himself.
He
and
looked like
feeling it.
he looked like an experienced quarterback.
Yeah. So
Not Hendon Hooker level, which that I don't know. That's Hendon. He might be an anomaly, although the Nico kid could be at least as good. But yeah, if Joe comes in and performs just like he did in against Clemson, I think we're great this year. And and give hopefully, please, and I don't want to jinx it. Everybody stays healthy, and he gets to play a lot. And maybe Nico comes in for some cleanup duty and all that, and he learns, and he gets the system, and he gets used to the coaches and the playbook and everything else, and then he can step in next year and just hopefully light it up.
yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Look, the big game. Let's just call it what it is. It's going to be Florida.
Oh yeah,
That's going to dictate how the season goes because if he plays well in that game, we win down there in the swamp. His confidence level is going to go through the roof, and so it will here in Knoxville.
yeah.
And all that's going to play out.
Everybody's going to be on the Joe boat, and that's going to be great if that happens. And hopefully,
go ahead.
Hopefully it does.
If he struggles, you might start hearing Nico. You might start, and that's an easy name to chant. It's but it's nice to have a 5-star right behind you. It is on your football team. And I'm gonna tell you what, that Gaston Moore, I know he's, I guess he's a walk-on. He's not, I don't know whether he's really a walk-on with NIL. Yeah. I think we've got a couple of walk-on quarterbacks that aren't really walk-ons with NIL. And he looked fantastic in the spring game. I mean, I was like, I remember thinking we'd better go to the transfer portal and get a third-string guy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with Gaston Moore, third string. I couldn't be more fine with him.
Yeah, I think actually he might be the second string guy just because if you really want to protect Nico this first year. And I wouldn't be okay with that, although the fans would be screaming for Nico. But if we got to that point, hopefully we don't. But yeah, he looked like a great yeoman quarterback out there. And had some good speed.
Yeah, he's got some quickness. I tell you, it reminds me of every one of those quarterbacks that you've seen down at UCF, where they're athletic, they've got good arms, they got some moxie. They're not tremendous athletes. I mean, they are compared to us, regular human beings, but they're not the just freak athletes, but they're just really good, solid players. So I think we're fine at third string. So I'm a lot less concerned about that. And Nico, the thing about Nico, he's going to have been here for 9 months come September. So I think he'll have the playbook down.
Yeah, he will almost have been here a year.
Yeah. The only thing that he won't have is live experience. Yeah. And that's invaluable. So that'll be a little bit tricky. What he'll have to do there, obviously, is get into the games and hopefully there's a big lead and he can start, getting comfortable and playing live games and doing all that kind of stuff because the college game is faster than what he's used to.
Yeah.
But again, he's going to have been here almost a year. I mean, he's almost a sophomore at this point.
Yeah, he really almost will be a redshirt sophomore.
Yeah, so a redshirt freshman anyway.
Or a redshirt freshman, and which is great. He's been able to. He's been had some time to get on the weight program, to get on the nutrition program, to get on the training schedule, and to learn the system, learn the playbook, get some good practice time. And that's another, the big thing about the bowls. That's why the bowl ban would have been a horrible thing because you get that extra practice. You can bring in your early enrollees and they can get live practice with the first team or against the first team or whatever, and the travel, and that's immense in a guy's overall development.
Well, you get something like 3 or 4 weeks more practice as well.
Exactly.
And you get the national attention, and it helps you with recruiting.
And you get
it would have been terrible to get a bowl ban. That would have really stunk.
Yeah. And although, the Tennessee haters out there are saying I guess they wanted us to get the death penalty, but we got hammered pretty doggone hard. What was it? 28 scholarships is not small. Even though we already did 16 on our own, 28 scholarships is a lot. And especially in Division I football, you kidding me? And number two, $9 million is what it's ultimately going to be. But that doesn't even go into the cost of attorneys, the cost of the throw into the cost of the total coaching system overthrow and getting in a new coach, a whole new set of coaches, because we've had to fire everybody. Then you look at the recruiting restrictions that we've got. They reduced our visits. They reduced our communications with recruits. All that stuff. Nobody talks about that. And what else? And now then we also have to vacate some wins, which is, I think to me that's not a huge thing, but it kind of is. And that's a bunch of wins we don't have now, and it drops us in the overall, win category for programs and all that. Ultimately that's not that big a deal, but to a lot of people it means a lot. And then the guys who played who didn't cheat, it probably means a heck of a lot.
Yeah, it's that's unfortunate all the way that played out. But look, it's
think of the guys who had to go
over at this point.
Yeah, think of the players who had to go through this horrible coaching firing and all that. And, we lost a lot of them, but then some stuck around. And, that's difficult and that costs. And, and then we lost how many jumped ship when Heupel got hired? Was it 30 scholarship players we lost?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's been tough. Got to give a shout out to Carly, who's 7-year-old little girl that's watching. We'll do that.
Hi, Carly.
For Brandon. Got to do that.
Yeah.
I don't get a lot of 7-year-olds watching the Vols content. I think for the Vols, well, almost any athletic stuff, it's usually about 90% men, 10% women, something like that. And
shout out to Carly. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, we've got almost 300 people. I'm shocked. I'm really shocked. Nice. That's very surprising to me.
Hey, the whole world wants Tennessee football, man.
I'll tell you what, it's exciting. We've got this cloud off of us now. That cloud's gone. Now we can really hit the recruiting even harder. My understanding, and I heard this, I can't remember if it was on VolQuest, but they said, might have been on 99.1. They said Coach Heupel was on the phone immediately after that came down and calling these recruits saying, look, I don't care what anybody's told you. Do not worry about bowl ban. Don't worry about any of this crap. It's over. We got a few more things to take care of, but, just come on. Let's go. Let's get that commitment going. And I think it put some energy into him because he's had this on his, hanging over him for 2 years. And, of course, the national media types that wanted more penalties, they never bring that up, that we've had a cloud over us for 2-3 years.
Well, that's another cost,
which is a huge penalty in and of itself.
And almost $9 million. But what were the legal fees?
It's less about the money to me than it is when you're in that recruiting living room and you've got 2 or 3 teams telling that guy, oh, well, you're probably not going to get to be in a bowl game. There's no telling how bad it's going to be. You're probably going to have to transfer out as soon as the, penalties show up.
Yeah, I could see the Kiffins of the world and the Sabins of the world. They might get the death penalty, and you'd really be screwed then.
I'll bet there's several defensive players, especially defensive backs, that wish they had come to the Vols and helped us last year, because we were this close. And our defensive backfield been stronger, but they were like, well, they probably believed the hype, or the nonsense that we were going to get hammered, and they could have been starting or at least, participating instead of sitting on the bench at Alabama or Georgia and not getting to play at all. And that's I don't care how good the team is. Those guys want to play. They want to participate.
That's it. If you can play, you're gonna play. It's not like, some of our previous staffs where it's like, okay, freshmen don't play, sophomores, if they're really good, play, and then we'll talk seriously when you're a junior and a senior. No, if you come in and you're good enough to beat out somebody, you're in. I mean, if you can do it, you're in. You're playing.
Absolutely.
You're running to the tee and you're playing on that. And man, if you've been to a Tennessee football game in the past 2 seasons, get out of here.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's really been something that I'll tell you what, 2021 was one of my absolute favorite years ever because I thought we were going to stink. And all of a sudden we were up 28-0 on Missouri, 35-7 on South Carolina. And I'm going, What am I watching here? What is this? What is happening?
Well, the TV coverage, they'd go to commercial and come back and we'd already scored. Or they were showing a replay from the previous play, and they'd have to cut it off and show us scoring. It happened that quick. It was just boom, boom, boom. And that's what was so frustrating to some of these coaches, opposing coaches. They just couldn't deal with it. I think that happened to the LSU coach. He was like, what the heck is going on here? We can't even get our defense called, and they're in the end zone.
Yep. Here's a guy that says Austin Price said there were multiple blue chips the last cycle that didn't end up choosing us because of the cloud. Makes me wondering if any of those unnamed players consider us now in the portal. Yeah, they may very well. They may very well. Yeah, we might have. Well, you know what? And the thing is about Heupel, and I was a little bit concerned at first with the portal because he wasn't getting the big names. And then I thought about it. He is all about culture, and he's not going after the guys that are maybe really talented, but maybe don't have the right attitude, because he got a good dose of that in the South Carolina game, how much trouble that can cost you when you've got somebody that's very upset and, doesn't want to be on the same page.
Yeah.
That can cause you problems. And I'll tell you what, a 3.15 GPA in football, that's strong. I mean, that's well above a B, which is just, these are football players. We're not talking about, an engineering class here. We're talking about guys that have been athletes their whole life in high school. And I hear them interviewed, and they seem like, I tell you what, I've been really impressed with a lot of these guys come in. They interview very well.
Yeah.
That Arian Carter, he was great. And I watched these last couple of guys, and they're very focused, and they're worried about, having good grades and stuff like that. And you're like, that's who you want. Because that's a guy he's going to really practice hard, and he's going to stay focused. And you're not going to get that phone call at 2 a.m. from the Knoxville Police Department. I hate to tell you this, Coach Heupel, but we've got 2 or 3 guys down here, and they've done something absolutely horrible, and now it's going to be on the Knoxville News Sentinel front page. Now, I hope that, that can still happen. Look, it's 100 guys basically.
Yeah.
You could have a problem, but it's been relatively reasonably quiet.
Yeah, which is great. That's news is good news on that front. No news is good news. John, I'm about to, my phone's about to die here.
Okay, well, that's fine. No problem. We're about to the end of the hour anyway, Wilmot, just a few more minutes.
Okay.
So you head on out, and I'm gonna finish this thing up with these folks and talk to them a little bit, and then I'm gonna remove you out of here. Okay.
All right, dude. Thanks for everybody for tuning in here and coming into the live chat. Appreciate you.
Yep. I'll talk to you later, Wilmot. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow. All right. See you, buddy.
See you tomorrow, buddy.
Okay. All right, folks. That was my bro Chillmont, and I appreciate him coming on the show for me. It's always helpful, and I enjoyed talking to you guys. I'm going to close this up here in just a few minutes, but I tell you, I really, with this NCAA thing being gone and out of the way completely like it is, and now our recruiting's heating up. Look, the last, 5 recruits we've had have been 4 4-stars and a 5-star. That's fantastic. We moved up from 14 to as high as number 7 right now. We're looking hard at 2 5-star edge rushers, which is Cam Franklin and Jordan Ross. We're looking hard at this Bennett Warren, 6'7", 330-pound, big-time offensive tackle out of Texas. and he's looking at us. Got another linebacker, Chris Cole, out of Virginia, who is a teammate of Peyton Lewis, and Peyton Lewis is trying to get him to come to the Vols. Very good player. I think we're going to end with a flourish here at the end and wind up with a really nice class. Now, we'll probably end up with a few less players, maybe one or two less players than the other teams, because we've still got to be a little bit careful with number of scholarships over the next 5 years. But it also means we're going to be pickier. We're probably going to have more high-end guys and probably take a little less chances on some 3-stars than we have in the past, because, you know, you are a little bit, tiny bit limited with your scholarships, which I don't know if that's, you know, anything terrible. I mean, heck, it just means you're going to be a little bit more careful with your recruiting and trying to get the most high-end guys you can. But, you know, with the transfer portal and NIL, I think we're fine. I really do. I have literally no concerns along those lines to speak of any significant concern. And I certainly don't think it's going to cost us any more players. You know, they've already seen us go from 7-6 with a ragtag team, then 11-2. Now most people think we're going to win 9-10 games this year. We've got Nico, the number 1 player in the country last year, who's, you know, he's going to be our starter the following year, almost certainly. I don't know, man. I've been watching the Vols a long, long time. I've never been – it's been since a couple of years there with Fulmer that I've been this excited. And this style of football, this brand, is the most exciting I've ever watched. That's why 2021 was such a fun year, because I was in shock. Those first few games when we were up on Missouri 28 and South Carolina 28, I mean, we just didn't do that. I hadn't seen that in 15 years. And even 15 years before that, I hadn't seen anybody score that fast. So I don't know. I just – this is going to be an awesome year and a fun year, and we're going to see that defense improve. And the following year with the 12-team playoff, I can't wait for that. I think we're going to be a nightmare to deal with in that playoff, and we're going to make it on a consistent basis. They're not going to be able to keep us out. So I don't know. I couldn't be more fired up. And these recruits are starting to see, hey, if you want to go to the NFL, you come to the Vols, because Josh Heupel is not only going to put you in the best position, your numbers are going to skyrocket. And if you're looking out for your best interest and you're one of those skill guys, you better get your rear into Knoxville. If you want to make the money and you want to go to the NFL and you want to be trained right and you want to be in a good quality culture, if there's any parents out there, you want your son in a good quality culture where they're going to have a good GPA and there's not going to be a bunch of shenanigans, Knoxville's the place to come. I'm just saying. And somebody just mentioned Squirrel White. Let me tell you something. Squirrel is going to be awesome this year. I cannot wait to see that guy running out there with that 4.3, 4.4 40, 5'9" matchup nightmare. And then you got Dante at 6'5" is going to be flying down through there. It's going to be something to behold. I'm really excited about it. Joe, thank you, buddy. Appreciate that. I'm going to head on out of here, and I thank all 310 of you and plus all the rest for coming to watch the live show. This is only my second time doing a live show, and I appreciate every one of you. And looking forward to the season, and we will see you next time on Sports Talk Jay. I'm going to end the broadcast.